Okay, students. So now this is our drawing section. We're going to be using charcoal and doing a still life. As you can see, that's going to be our reference right here on the left-hand side. Okay, it's a chalice with grapes and bread. And from the previous section, you saw how it was lit. But to make it easier for you guys to start learning values and not keep it too complicated, I kind of made it already a grayscale picture, okay, or monochromatic picture. So the values were much easier to identify, okay? So our tools for today are a charcoal stick, paper, which I will give you guys. If you're virtual, your tools are going to be a little bit different. So you're going to have pencil instead of charcoal, unless you have charcoal at home. You can use any paper you'd like. I prefer if you used white paper because the lined paper is gonna confuse it a little bit, or the image a little bit. But if that's all you have, then that's all you have. That's fine. Everybody has erasers. If you don't have any of these kind of block erasers, you're more than welcome to use the back of the eraser of your pencil. I'll be using it too. It kind of gives me a little bit of a better point. And then a blender. And the blender is just when you want to blend the charcoals together, you can use a simple napkin. But I'll probably be using a lot of my finger, and you'll notice why. Okay? So the process is a line drawing first. We're going to add the value second, and then refinement. And refinement just means that we're going to try to make it as nice and as close to the reference as possible. I'm not expecting you to make a perfect copy of that reference, because with the tools that we have, these are a tiny bit limiting, okay? Especially with trying to get a fine point to make nice little lines there. But we can do our best, okay? So we're going to do the best we can with the tools we have, and we're still going to come out with a really cool drawing, okay? But the refinement section, I might leave up to you guys, okay? So I'm going to do the video of the line drawing, adding values, a little bit of the refinement, but then after that, I might leave you on your own to try to make it a little bit better, to go in there and push your values or pull your values. All that means is making things a little bit darker, making things a little bit lighter, okay? So we're gonna get started now, okay? So all I want you guys to do first is let's make a line, okay? So let's make the line for the top of the cup, okay? So right up here, I think the cup is right about there, okay? Then we're going to make a line for the bottom of the cup, okay? So I'm going to say the bottom of the cup is right about here, okay? Okay, so just make those lines, okay? And then what you can do is what's called comparative measurement. All that is you're measuring one thing and seeing if it matches something else. So, for instance, I'm going to measure the top of the cup to where about the grape hits the bottom of that cup, okay? So right around here. Whoops, let's bring it back to size. So right there is about that size. So let me see if I can compare a size. Okay, that's a little bit too much. Maybe here. Okay, so right there, that's a good measurement. So the top of the cup to the top of that grape right at the bottom of that cup is about the same distance as the grapes and the end right here of the bread. Okay? So let's try to make those marks. Okay, so my charcoal is just a tiny bit too small, but that's okay. So we're going to say about right there. This is about the end of that bread. And right around here is the end of that grape. Okay? Okay, so right there, we have ideas of where things are, okay? Again, this is drawing. You can always erase, okay? So here, I'm going to start with the top of the cup here. So you're just going to make a line right up here. Might have made that too big, but that's okay. So let's bring it down. I, as an artist, have a tendency to make things bigger. Okay? If you would have seen me as a kid whenever I was drawing Spider-Man or Superman or any of those characters, I would have a reference of that character, but I would always make him so much bigger and they would go off my page. And I still kind of do that to this day. Like right here, I'm going to have to change my measurements because I made the cup just a tiny bit too big. But that's okay. That's perfectly okay. Okay, so now what I do is I'm going to measure that again. So I need something a little bit longer. So I'm going to use this sandpaper thing that I have for my charcoals. And we're going to do that again. So that's about, so right about there. So right about here. There's my grapes. And right about, so I can measure that. That's down. So yeah, right about there would be my bread. Okay? So here we go. So now we're going to put our bread. And that's okay if the objects go off your page, okay? If the objects come off your page a little bit, that's perfectly okay. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to make one thing big to not have any other objects on your page, because if you do that, I will know it, and you won't get credit for the assignment. Okay? What I want you to do is try your best to get all the objects in there. I can see that the bread right here, kind of at the end, is below this and right about here. So I know that I need to stop my bread right around there. And I come around, and it comes here, and then I see that my bread right around here kind of goes up and there. Okay? So right there we kind of have our bread. I want to correct here my line a little bit because the bread kind of goes up, the opening of the bread, and then it comes down. And then right here, this is very little small line there. Come right across here, and then down that way. Okay? That right there is our bread. Okay? And now we're going to do our grapes. And the grapes, I'm going to show you how we're not going to draw every single grape that's on there. Okay? But what I want you to do is kind of give it the idea that one, it's grapes, and two, the direction that they're going. So first I'm going to just draw kind of a shape to show more or less where they would be. Okay? So the shape is about here. They come here. I see that that grape hits that bread. So you know what? I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to come down because I see that grape right here. Then we're going to come here. You can see that grape goes a little bit back there. Then we're going to go here. Come in. And do this very lightly because this is just kind of referencing where those grapes would be. Okay, and it would just give us a better idea of where to put our circles for our grapes. So right there, this comes here, comes here. So there. So that's going to be more or less our shape, okay? Again, if you're going to be watching these videos, I'm probably going to have you guys watch these videos independently, okay? Meaning you can take it at your own time. So if you feel yourself not catching up with me, you can absolutely pause the video, catch up to that section, and go and restart again. Okay, I'm making these videos to make them much easier for you guys to follow instead of having me instruct in front of the class and not being able to help you guys a little bit one-on-one. So again, these videos are going to be for you to be able to pause them so you can catch up. But that doesn't mean that you guys stop for 15 minutes to do one line, okay? I want you guys to just try to stay in a rhythm, okay? Try to catch up, get in a rhythm, okay? So now we're going to do our grapes. So now we're going to do our circles, okay? So as you go back, okay, and we're going to learn this in our space, in our element of art when it concerns space. You're going to notice when things are closer to you, they're going to be a little bit bigger than the items that are behind you. So right here, you can see that this grape is bigger than these grapes, okay? Because these grapes right here are being pushed back in space, okay? So right here, this grape right here is nice fat grape right there, okay? I see one back here, and you're gonna see I'm gonna follow some of the grapes, but eventually I might start just putting in grapes or leaving grapes out as I go along, okay? Okay, so this one is a little bit in front. Also, guys, I want to know your opinion if you like me doing these videos, or do you just like me drawing for you in class? You guys tell me what you prefer, and I'll try to do what makes you guys feel more comfortable and more successful as artists. Okay. So I'm just filling in those grapes really quickly, okay? You guys may take a little bit longer time. That is fine, as long as you're working and you're putting in effort. Remember, the only thing I ask from you is to give me effort, okay? You give me effort, we all have a great time, okay? You can see all those grapes there, okay? And don't worry, I'm going to show you guys how to shade in those grapes when we get there, okay? I'm going to put another grape over here and a couple grapes back here. This one overlapping a little bit here. And then there's grapes back here, but I'm going to leave those kind of, I'm just going to fill these in shadow just to kind of push those back, okay? And don't worry, I'll show you guys, obviously, the values. But for now, let's kind of put in our stem, okay? I'm going to erase some of these structure lines that I did, okay? If they don't erase perfectly, don't worry. Erase them the best that you can, okay? So here we go. I'm going to put the stem going up this way. It comes here, comes down. I see a stem coming back this way. Then I see more stem coming here, going down this way. And then it comes here. And then comes here to the front right there. Okay. And there we go. And when we do the shading and I do the highlights for the stems, you'll see the stems come out a little bit more. Okay. So, you know what? Let's start with, we're going to start with the bread, okay? So the line drawing, more or less, is where we want them to be, okay? Now we're going to start with the bread. And I think I noticed that my bread is a little bit too vertical. I think I need to tilt it just a tiny bit. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Okay? I'm going to do it if you feel like yours is in a good place, okay? It's fine if you leave it, okay? As long as you're putting in the values and the shadows and you're understanding those concepts, I'm okay with it not being perfect, okay? But as long as you're giving me effort and you're putting in values where they go, All right, we're gonna be good. Okay, so here, right here, is what's called our core shadow. It's on the object, and it's the darkest shadow on the object. Okay, but if you look at your value scale, this would probably not be your darkest dark. Your darkest dark will be your cast shadow, which is right here, which is the shadow that the bread is putting on the table. Okay, but this one would be kind of like almost your second darkest, or maybe your middle one, depending on how dark or light you did your value scale. So right here, I'm gonna fill that in a little bit dark, only because I'm gonna use my finger to kind of put that in there. Okay, and you can go over it again. Remember how I talked about layering? Okay, you can layer your shadows. Even your shadows. Okay, so here we go. So right back here, you can tell that this is a little bit darker than that middle section of the bread. Okay, it's a little bit further back in space. Okay, and that part right here is actually coming down, and the light is catching that section right here. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that just like that. And then I'm going to do the front here, which is a little bit darker than that middle section where I was telling you that the bread turns. Okay, so you can see that I'm using my finger to kind of get those values in there. Okay, it's a good way of blending. Okay, and it's just much easier. You can use the paper towels, but it's up to you. The blending is up to you. So right here, I'm just putting little marks kind of to identify the bread. Okay, just to symbolize the bread. This is the middle parts of that bread. So right there, okay, you can kind of, in certain sections, just kind of pinch it a little bit. We'll use an eraser later to push out our highlights. Okay, so right there, we have kind of our nice little bread there with the values that we need. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to our grapes. And the grapes, if you look at them, I don't know how these pictures are looking on the YouTube video, but I'm gonna send you pictures of these either in PDF form or in image form, so you guys have those as reference. Okay, I kind of wanted to have the iPad here so I can zoom in and zoom out with different things on the pictures. But if like certain sections look too light or too dark, you'll have those pictures available for you guys to look at for better reference. Okay, so here we go. So the grapes, we have to look at the grapes. Sorry. Okay, let me see. Yeah, you can see it better there. Right here, the light hits these grapes and creates those highlights. Okay, and those highlights, all right, are our identification of where the light hits it, and then we know that the other side would be dark. Okay, so the highlights right here, these sections would be dark, this section would be dark, and so on and so forth. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and put those dark sections. Okay, and then you're going to notice me using my finger to fill in these grapes a lot. Okay, just kind of a quick way of getting those midtones on those grapes. And then I'll just go in with an eraser to pull those highlights out. Okay, this one is kind of away from the light. It's kind of under here. So I'm going to make that one dark. I'm going to make that one nice and dark. Okay, this one right here is kind of away from the light on the bottom, but does go into a highlight at the top. And we continue on here. And this is a nice round grape there. Okay. This one, the highlight is over here. So we know that the back is going to be in shadow. Okay, this one is kind of a bright one, so I'm just gonna leave it almost with nothing, and then you just go on. So I'm gonna do these pretty quickly, get them done here for you, because you guys should have the concept down. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to continue here. Okay. You can use your fingers to kind of blend these in. You see how I just kind of put in the really dark values, and then I kind of pull out those highlights. Pull out the highlights after I finish here. Okay, same thing over here. Okay. I want you guys to do your best, okay? I'm doing this quickly because I want to give you the videos and not make them super long. Okay? But I do want you guys to take your time with this. Okay? I want you to do your best. Okay? I think here I might just stick in another grape, even though there wasn't one in before. But again, you guys already know about Aaron Blaise. I've talked about him before in class. You guys don't remember, he was the Disney animator that now teaches art online. But he has a saying. He says, don't be a slave to your reference. And all that means is to not feel like you have to do everything perfectly to your reference. Okay, that's all that means. It just means you don't have to do everything your picture has on there. Okay, what you want to do is just representation. So you see something and you try to represent what it may look like, but you're not going to be doing just, make sure that it looks perfect. Okay, there's cameras for that. What we want to do is just represent what we're drawing. Okay, to give an idea of the objects that we're drawing. Okay, so there we have our grapes. Okay, as you see, they're just all around. All right, now I'm gonna go in with my pencil and really pull out those highlights. Okay, so you know where the light is hitting these grapes. Okay, right here, the highlight is here. This one is here. Okay. If your eraser is not erasing 100%, it's okay. Just whatever it pulls, it pulls. And this one I'm going to round out a little bit because that one kind of got crazy. And it's there. So now our grapes are more or less done, okay? Okay, you can, in the refinement stage, you guys can go ahead and try to push and pull, meaning you can make things darker, make things lighter. Okay, but for now, we're going to move on to our cup or our chalice. Okay. And that the church was awesome to let me borrow for this still life, so you guys can have a really awesome chalice to look at and have as reference. Okay. So if you see what I did was, I noticed that I had kind of made it too small. So I just raised it up a little bit, okay? And all you do is just do the lines. Obviously the cup isn't a straight cup like that, or a chalice, my apologies. It kind of has these angles. Okay, so you do that, okay? I see right here, it has these little grooves. So we're going to put that, it's almost halfway on the cup. So I'm going to put that there, and it comes off there that way. No, actually it comes It's a little bit less than that. See, there's always corrections you can make. Don't be afraid to correct something. Okay, this one comes almost at the end, it comes up and then it comes down. Okay. Okay. So right there, I know this section here comes out from the top a little bit, so we're gonna push that out. And same thing on this side. Okay. So right there, we have our chalice. Okay. So now we're gonna put some of our values up here. So you can see right here, this is a dark and this is a dark value, and the other side is dark as well. So just go ahead and put those dark values in there. Sorry about the shaking with the camera. I don't have the greatest setup yet. But if you guys enjoy me making these videos and you feel like you can become better artists by kind of, being able to pause the video and go on and stuff, because also what this is going to allow me to do is I'll be able to walk around the class and give you guys a little bit of one-on-one with the drawings. So if you guys like the videos, you want me to continue to do this, please let me know. Okay? And I will do my best to keep teaching this way, because I do like the idea of being able to go around the class. You guys will be able to watch the videos. And if I can go around the class, or I can see my virtual students, I can really help you guys one-on-one a little bit more. Okay, so you see right here, I'm just trying to make this line a little bit better. I'm kind of drawing in a standing position, trying to push down, so it's a little awkward for me, but it was the only way I can kind of lay the paper down and make these videos until, again, I have a better setup. Okay, so you see, just put in your dark values. Okay, and then you can start pulling your lights. So sorry about that again. Okay, so right here I can see that this has a nice shine right there. Okay, right there, let's go in there. Okay, I'm gonna try to pull that highlight the best we can. Okay, and right up here, there's also a highlight right in here. Okay. 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 Okay, so those are our lines there. There's also a little bit of a highlight right at the rim of this chalice. I'll try to get in there. Maybe with a pencil I can get a better line. Maybe I can get this a little bit. This a little bit better. Oh yeah. And then here in the rim, okay, not too bad. Okay, so here let's blend that in a little bit. I feel like it was too much of a value change. So right there. Okay, so that's the top of the cup. Okay, so the inside right here, there's a lot of detail, and with this charcoal stick, it's a little bit hard to try to get in there and make every line perfect. Okay, so we're just gonna try to represent shapes and just try to make them as nice as we can. Okay, so first, let me redefine this line here. And if you have an extra paper, okay, probably be better if you kind of put your hand like that over the paper so you don't mess up the drawing on the bottom like I've been doing the whole time. Okay, so here we're gonna put this right here. I can see that the bottom has kind of the same shape, so we're gonna do that. Okay, and then I know that inside right here there's kind of these circular shapes. Okay. Okay, and just kind of put little marks in there, kind of to define some. Okay. Okay, I see that there's these little detailed lines there. We're not going to be able to do all those perfect lines, so just kind of make these these shapes shaded in. You can even come in here and with your pencil kind of just represent where there may be some highlights. Go in there again and make some nice little lines that crisscross. Okay? And it's very abstract. And it's very abstract, but you'll be able to get detail, okay? Or some detail. So right at the bottom here, we have these swoops that come in here and here. Okay, it kind of looks like filigree or a shape there. Okay, just put, you know, if you see a shape, just put it in. Try to do your best to get that shape in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of blend it in a little bit. And then I'm going to redefine those lines again. And redefine just means you're going to go over those lines just to kind of identify them a little bit better. And now I'm just going to go in here and wherever I think there might be a highlight, bring out a highlight. Okay? And then put in some shadows where it might be a little bit more shadowy. Okay? Remember, this is values, so you got to try to just put in values or darks and lights wherever they go. Okay? So that's not bad right there. All right? Keep it simple. Okay? Keep it as simple as you can so you guys can do it the best you can. Okay? Right there. Okay, so right here I kind of put this sphere a little bit too high, but that's okay. We're just going to leave it there. Okay. And then we're going to bring this down and across here. This has these little kind of almost like little diamond shape pegs. Okay, so you can put those in there and then just try to line these up. Try to find the detail in there and then just do your best to mimic that detail. Okay, obviously with the tool you can't get really in there with the detail, but we're having fun and we're doing our best. So right here you have this squared shape excuse me, right there at the base. Then you can just kind of go around here. Okay, just kind of want to show you the values and the line and redefining the line drawing. Okay, and you guys will be able to do the refinements yourself, meaning you're gonna look at the reference, you're gonna look at your drawing, and then decide what you're gonna make look a little bit better. Okay, and that's how you're gonna earn your grade. So if you do the bare minimum, meaning you just do the line art and maybe a little bit of shading, you know, and you don't put a lot of effort in it, I'm gonna know it, and you're not gonna get the best grade possible. If you give effort and you show me that you really tried, then you'll get a really good grade. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the shadows really quickly. Okay, so you see that the cup is casting a shadow over here and the bread is casting a shadow right there. Okay, so the bread, the shadow it's casting is right next to it. It kind of has a little groove, but let's just keep it simple and go out and back. I'm gonna have to go off my paper a little bit. Okay, but that is going to be our cast shadow there. Okay, that's our cast shadow there. Our grapes are casting very little shadows, but these right here, these grapes back here are definitely casting shadows. This one right here is definitely casting a shadow here. So just go around and look at your grapes and see where a shadow would be. If the light is coming from this side, okay, there would be a shadow right here behind this grape. Okay, and then this would probably be in shadow back here. So there you go. You have a little bit of shadow there with the grapes. And then let's get our cup. You can see right here next to the bread, there's a little bit of the cup's shadow. You can go up, and then you see where it starts for the cup, and it goes out that way. Okay, actually it comes out a little bit more this way, right there, and then out. And you can put that right behind the bread. After it went off was this line right here, which is just showing right here the back of the drop cloth. Okay, so what we can do is we can kind of put in those darks to kind of make things pop out a little bit. So you can go ahead and fill in that background. Kind of leave around the goblet or the chalice a little bit on the whiter side. Okay. Okay. Do this really quickly. Put that in there. As you get closer, you can kind of just do a little bit of a mid-tone. Okay. And then you can go in there and really get, okay. And in the refining stage, you can go ahead and do as many passes as you want. Okay. I'm gonna fix this a little bit. Kind of got away from you a little bit there. Okay. We're gonna go right around this way. Okay. All right, so that's kind of a little bit of that. You already put in your shadows. Okay, you put the shadows in. What we can do is you can just put a nice little mid-tone. Come in this way. Leave the front white because that's where the light would be hitting. Right back here, a nice little mid-tone there, and this way. Okay. Last thing, to kind of bring out the stem, I kind of forgot to do this. Kind of just where the stem would be, kind of erase going down that way and down this way. And then you can just kind of line it up a little bit. Just throw in a little bit of a line. It'll give the idea of the stem. Okay, so that's it. I will be walking around during class, and I will be helping you guys with this project. So hope you have fun with it. Hope you had a good time doing it, because I'm assuming at the end of the video you guys would have been done with this. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys had fun doing it. And if you have any questions, or if you want me to continue doing videos like this, please let me know, okay? because we can continue doing things like this where I can have more one-on-one with you while you guys are watching the videos, and we can go on from there. All right, so that's it. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you for the next project.